What have I just watched? How entertaining was that match? I've just literally finished watching Argentina against South Africa in the Rugby Championship. And here are my immediate thoughts following the full-time whistle. I haven't had time to process my thoughts, and there's quite a lot buzzing around in my head right now, as I'm sure there is yours if you have also just watched that game. But overall, how entertaining. Obviously, if you don't know the result and don't want to know the result, you better look away, because I am going to reveal it. And congratulations and vamos los Pumas, because Argentina have chalked up a famous victory in Santiago, 29 points to 28. South Africa have been on the right end of many significant one-point victories in recent years. I'm an Englishman. I know that only too well. So they can take this one on the chin. And for Argentina, that is significant. The first time that they've ever beaten New Zealand, Australia and South Africa in the same Rugby Championship. And this has taken the Rugby Championship down to a final weekend. It will be decided in Nelspruit next weekend. And for the competition, that is amazing. I mean, obviously not great if you're a South Africa fan, coach or player, especially not Marnie Lebok. And I'll come on to that, obviously. But amazing for the competition and a brilliant 80 minutes of rugby that I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed. As you can see, I'm not at home currently. I am, as I mentioned on the video early this morning, I'm in. I'm down visiting my sister, who has had a little baby girl, Lila. So I am an uncle again, Uncle Tim, Uam in Afrikaans. I don't know what the Spanish is for uncle, whatever that word is. I'm that again. Thank you for the well wishes on the video earlier. That's why I'm not at home. But despite running around after my nieces and nephews all day today, I had more than enough energy to stay up and watch that game. I'm the only person still awake in the house. But I'm so glad I stayed up and watched that. That is the sort of game that I would show friends of mine who aren't full-on rugby fans to try and get them into the sport. It was one of those. But any discussion of this game has to start at the end. So leave your comments down below, I should have said. Please give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe on the channel. I'm Tim, and this is Egg Chasers, and start at the end. Marnie Lebok. Oh, man. You can't help but think that that could be... I hope it's not a full stop on his Springbok career. You fear it could be. I do feel a little bit sorry for him in the sense that we know at this point that he's not a clutch kicker. He's not the guy you would bet your mortgage on if there was one kick that was needed to be made and he was the guy kicking it. It's kind of not his fault he got selected in that situation, but when you are the goal kicker of a world champion team in circumstances like that, it is your job nonetheless to nail those kicks. And on 79 minutes, after his teammates had done so well to engineer a position where once again they could use a get out of jail free card, use a bit of power and a bit of nous to score the winning points, and he wasn't able to do it. And that is going to be the defining moment of this game. And is it going to be the final defining moment of Marnie Lebok's Springbok career? Interesting to see. I'm very interested to see what the selections are and what the comments are following that, because he should have got that kick. And let's take it back a few steps before that. It's 29 points to 28. The end of the game, Argentina just need to close it out, survive one scrum, and they're kind of through. They not only survive the scrum, they win a penalty, get a line out 5 meters out from South Africa, and you think, well, here we go, South Africa are done. But this is what this Springbok team can do. Eben Etzebeth, on the day that he became equal most capped Springbok of all time, has a very Victor Matfield-esque line-out intervention, steals the line-out. Lebok puts up a really good contestable kick, which earns them the scrum. Very kind of reminiscent in reverse, or reminiscent of that England semi-final at the Rugby World Cup. Then they managed to, the scrum was within kicking range. Hendrickse has a very savvy moment, lying on top of a defending player at the ruck so that he cannot get away and winning the penalty. I mean, some people would have said that was, the referee should have spotted that wasn't a penalty. But you know what? If a defender puts himself in that position and a player is clever enough to use it to their advantage, I say fair play, Hendricks. A kick for the championship. Libok misses. There we go. As for the rest of the game, and I'd be interested to know, I don't want to get too bogged down just purely in that one kick, although that is going to be what one of the big talking points following this game is, isn't it? There's no getting around that. But overall, that was, well, firstly, that was a game of two halves, and the first half was a half of two halves. It's a little bit like, on a smaller scale, just that first half itself was a little bit like the Australia-New Zealand game earlier, where you thought, I mean, there might have been some people watching in the UK where it's on very late at night, or South Africa even, where it's even later at night, might have seen the first 20 minutes and thought, do you know what, I can go to bed now. We've got this game in the bag, no problem. South Africa were just carving Argentina to shreds. And then Argentina managed to turn it round in the second half of that first half with some amazing attacking play. And when they are on, they are on. You can talk about maybe South Africa's defence could have been better. They didn't take care of some of their fundamentals, but the depth and the speed that Argentina play with to get around a Russian defence is absolutely amazing to watch sometimes. And with a man in the bin for South Africa, Kurtley Arendse, some would argue a soft yellow card. Nevertheless, with a one-man advantage, Argentina just went to work and they played some amazing attacking rugby, and they showed they are right up there with the very best in the world when they're on. And they were off and then on in a big way in this 80 minutes, especially in that 40 minutes. Strange how the game turned from all action and 7 tries in the first half to a couple of kicks in the second half and a bit of an arm wrestle. I'm still trying to get my head around exactly how that was, but it was intense to watch. One little bit of feedback aside from the rugby, I don't know what it is, but yeah, the commentators were saying what an amazing atmosphere it was. It certainly looked like it was absolutely bouncing. There was even like laser pens shining in the ref's eyes. That's the sort of level of hostility there was in this place. But that didn't certainly in the TV feed that I watched, that did not convey at all. I don't know whether there was no microphones of the crowd or I don't know. But the sound and the whole spectacle and the whole stadium wasn't picked up for me. And that's a bit of a shame. And again, I'm comparing that to the fact that I was there in the stadium for South Africa's last 2 games against New Zealand in Johannesburg and in Cape Town when the atmosphere was wild. And again, so I kind of want that to come across on the TV broadcast. I don't know why it didn't. But overall, what would you say? What are the sort of takeaways for the 2 teams? Again, let me just remind you, I am bringing you this video immediately following the full-time whistle without much time to gather my thoughts. It's just hit record and go. So I may have more thoughts that will pop into my head randomly or at another point. But just if you had to summarise what your overall takeaways are for each team, then South Africa, incredible couple of tries to start and just shredded Argentina. When they play with pace and get quick ball and have just the way that Fassi and then Jesse Creel just cut lines, ran through open holes. It was like the defence was optional at that point, but that's because of the speed and pace that South Africa were playing at, and that is a warning sign of what they are capable of. But there was not enough of that. There were too many mistakes again. There were line-out malfunctions again. There was poor defence again. There are going to be questions in personnel. Are some of the guys that are being groomed to come through and take over from these 2-time World Cup winning legends, are they of the required standard? Manie Libbok being one. Obviously a World Cup winner himself, but you get the point. Salman Murat. There's going to be more questions asked of him after this one. Was there enough leadership on the field for the Boks? Argentina, as I mentioned, when they are on, they are almost unplayable. And in that yellow card period, they were just incredible. The length of the kicks they managed to get on to just relieve a bit of pressure. I thought Thomas Albanose was really good and justified his selection at 10. The length of the kicks they put on it, it's like they were playing at altitude. and they've just got that passion. I always judge an Argentina team by the more tears there are during the national anthem, then the more likely they are to win. And there were floods of tears. You could have sailed a ship on the tears from those Argentina players in the full national anthem. You get the full national anthem, like 10-minute long epic version when they play in Argentina. And I saw the tears and I did think we could be in for it here. But first scrum, 1 minute in, Thomas du Toit and Oxenche go to work, absolutely wipe Argentina out. Scrum penalty, tone set, 3 minutes in, Fassi scores a try. Deception, pace, and an open hole for Fassi to just stroll through, followed up 4 minutes later by that try I mentioned from Jesse Creel, a penalty for Pollard on 12 minutes. And what was that? 17-0 after 12 minutes. South Africa in control, Rugby Championship won, going home for a victory procession in Nelspruit. But then Argentina turned it on. Mateo Carreras, wheels. The gas that guy has got is amazing. Albanese with a half break, switching from open to blindside. Chocobares, who was ace as well, and Mateo Carreras linking up. And Argentina have woken up and they are in the game. And they're finding holes everywhere. Oviedo just bursts through another open hole. And it was after that period of play that Kurtley Arentz's tackle was checked by the TMO. It was deemed to have met the yellow card threshold. He was sent to the sin bin while the bunker checked if they wanted to upgrade that. It was left as a yellow. Again, some would argue shouldn't have been even a yellow. That's where rugby is right now, I guess. 21 minutes, Matera scores a try. Argentina find an edge. Mateo Carreras, again, incredible wheels, 2-on-1, puts Matera in on the left-hand touchline, and it's 14 points to 17. And then another try 5 minutes later from, it was the Oviedo offload, wasn't it? And yeah, in the maul, that's right. Molina, I think, goes up and takes it 5 meters out from the line out. South Africa's maul defence is brilliant, pushing Argentina into touch. Oviedo somehow manages to get his arm, basketball it back in field, tight head prop, bust through a couple of tacklers to put the Argentinians in front for the first time. A lead that was then extended with a 34-minute try for Albanese. Penalty kick to the 5 meter line, really good kick to get good territory, and tap and go, try Albanese, and they're in. But this half just gets wilder and wilder. It's swung one way, 17 points for South Africa, 26 points for Argentina, and then the half finishes with a try from Kobus Reinach, who made quite a few errors in that first half. And obviously felt like he had to make up for it. Quick tap from 10 metres out. And talk about wheels. That guy's still got them. He's got the jet shoes. It gave the commentators another excuse if they wanted it to mention that Kobus Reinach's dad was a sprinter. Always gets mentioned. You should see off your drink every time a commentator says that. And half-time, it is 26-22. What a game. 36, 37 degrees. Laser pointers being shined in the referee's face, whistles when there's penalty kicks and conversions, hostile atmosphere. South Africa starting like a train, Argentina reacting, but then South Africa hitting back before half-time. Just wild. It did feel like South Africa were missing Damien Dialende, Sia Khaleesi, who was in the coach's box, Pieter-Steph du Toit. Kind of defensively, there is clearly a drop-off from those type of players and the guys that are filling those shoes, as good as they are. And then in the second half, we just saw, madly, after all those tries, we saw just the one penalty for Argentina and the 2 for South Africa. And then with 10 minutes to go, as I came back to the end, it felt like South Africa were going to do what South Africa do, go to work, scrum, maul, find a way to win a penalty, kick the winning points, and that's where it returns to Marnie Lebok, who is, let's face it, going to be the big topic of conversation on this So I'll just put it to you. Should he be? Should Marnie Lebock be the big topic of conversation in this one? What other elements? Yeah, Marnie Lebock's going to get mentioned. A yellow card's going to get mentioned. There are, and I'll, to be consistent in my thoughts on talking about officiating decisions, there was lots and lots in South Africa's control that they did not control, that they could have controlled. Lineouts, errors. And I think that's going to come back to overall a bigger conversation about the next gen of Springboks, and are they at the required level right now, and what combinations and how many of those newer faces can you accommodate at one time. Remember, there were 10 changes to this Springbok team, and I thought they were going to win comfortably, and after 12 minutes I was thinking I could just go to bed, this game is done. How wrong I was, and how good for the championship that is the case. And you have to finish by saying, Vamos, Argentina. How good was that? There'll be a few bottles of Malbec and a few T-bone steaks being cooked up tonight in honour of that one. But they know they've now got a job to do. It's down to the wire. It's down to Nelspruit. The Rugby Championship has a grand finale. Bring it on. Thank you for watching this video. Give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, leave your comment down below. I'll see you on the next one.